meditate, you suddenly, I don't know how many people I talk to, it's just like, do it, it's like, oh, I this. And it's like, right, oh my God, they're just getting in, aren't they? They're getting over this fucking border. Like, you're right, like, the moment you sit out, your mind is going nuts. You're letting all these thought refugees, into your mind. And then in sort of day-to-day reality, you start trying to create a wall that's blocking out all the bad thoughts, not good thoughts. That's not me. I'm not like that. And yeah, the moment that goes bye-bye, and there is no more border.
Right, you stop distinguishing.
There's no distinction.
Right.
You do enter into this space that's our birthright. And
And it's okay. It's okay. That's what the Jews did. Look, we know it's intolerable. So just one day a week, sit there and accept that you're a sacred being, that you're okay just the way you are, like Mr. Rogers would say, that you're allowed to just sit there and be sacred. It's fine. One day a week, you can go be yourself the rest of the time. Go be crazy, worry. It's really, so you don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to, but give yourself tastes of it's okay. I know they're starving over there, and this bad thing's happening there. It's all happening, but it is what it is.
right.
And if you are on, if nothing else, if you are on, think of it that all of reality is a tree, or all of civilization, and you happen to be on a privileged branch of that tree, where you get to be on a green leaf.
Yeah.
You owe it to the sick part of that tree, soak in the sun. Get those nutrients, really, because you're connected to the whole thing. I'm not saying be selfish, but be open to the good, or you're not serving anybody.
But you know what? Here's what you do. Become the paramedic that you want to put you in the ambulance when you have your heart attack. And I'll tell you what I don't want my paramedic to be. I don't want my paramedic to be political. I don't want my paramedic to be fucking freaked out. I don't want my paramedic to be more scared than I am. I don't want my paramedic to be like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, you had a heart attack, the ice cap's fucking melting. I want my paramedic to be centered in the moment and completely just doing exactly the next right thing. That's what I want them to do. And if you have any, and I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think it's fucked up that these terms are being co-opted by the state right now, but if you have a legitimate human desire to help, which is a good thing, it doesn't mean you're woke, go broke, it doesn't mean you're whatever. I'm saying this is in us, and you want to cultivate that because it's fucking incredible when you get a chance to help somebody. The training has to be right now if you can't figure out a way to be okay. And how the fuck in a crisis situation when at last you can be the hero, are you going to execute that in the most efficient way? If you can't do it when there isn't anything on fire around you, there isn't someone who's like holding their guts in, there isn't someone who's about to shoot someone in the fucking face at a mall. Like, if you can't do that just sitting in your own house, that means that when the thing emerges, you are not going to be able to fully help the way you are saying you want to help.
And it has to be okay even when it's not okay.
That's right. I'm saying,
It's even when it's not. The person's holding in his guts, and he's gonna die, and it's gonna be okay.
I would refer you to that guy on the train. I know it haunts me. There's a guy on some train. He was trying to protect people. He got stabbed in the fucking. He got stabbed to death. He was trying to help people. He got stabbed, and as he's dying, he said, "I love everyone." And that just sticks with me. Because what I'm talking about, not okay. It's when you just got stabbed to death on a fucking train. And from his perspective, it's all love. And fuck, man, if like to me, that imminent doesn't it torture you. That is an imminent reality. I know there's a contradiction here in the sense that I'm just said it. Don't stop trying to correct people, and this can be misconstrued as a correction. And also, a lot of times when I'm saying shit like this, I'm talking to myself.
Well, forever, even if you're just talking, it's a correction.
Right.
Right? You can't. Otherwise we'd be like the llamas and just sit silent.
Yeah. It's just this, pointing people towards that idea, just even though it's a challenge, even though it's not.
So you have to think of any suggestions
suggestion or thing as an offer. Here's an offer. Here's something that's helped me on the road, and I offer it through my podcast.
Right.
To you.
Right, and I don't care if you adopt it or not. And you're not a bad person or a good person.
Right.
It's not about that. It's just, yeah, this worked. It's just, Douglas, it's like, I keep thinking about, like, God, I'm such a fucking asshole. There's so many, I don't like ecstatic dancing, and I don't like it.
I don't really like doing it so much, but I like that it's there. I like watching it and hearing it. I like loud drums and stuff.
I don't like the term intention, setting an intention. Right. For some reason, that just chafes my ass. But
when they do that, when you get a guided psychedelic thing, they're like, okay, now set your intention.
God, I don't know why it bothers me.
I know what you mean. No, because it's like, I just want to see what the Mother Earth, got us.
But tell me, I have been thinking about that setting the intention in terms of being fully in the present moment. And I've been thinking a lot about how the general sort of activist move is organizing, right? Organize, plan for the future, have a step-by-step sort of plan to get the world to the next whatever, right? And there's a lot of future thinking.
Right.
Also, I think there's a lot of past thinking, right? And so, like, the messaging in this election was, we're not going back, or we're going to make America great. It was either thinking about the past or thinking about the future.
Right.
I didn't hear very much about this moment right now. Yeah. And so, if you and I understand why we must plan and things that can do that, how often I'm in my planning mind, how often I'm thinking not just about the next day, but the next minute. While I'm in the midst of zipping up my backpack, I'm thinking about, well, I've got to text Douglas, I got to get him his car. Or while I'm like looking for my keys, I'm thinking about like where I need to drive. But the point is, like, I'm constantly lost in some future reality. And the intention thing, I'm starting to get it. Because it's like, what happens if you put the past and the future on as an offering? It's a burnt offering, you incinerate it. Now it's gone.
Right.
All there is right now. But just add to it this simple intent. I'm gonna help. Yeah. Whoa! Have you noticed that is whenever I do that, it's like like magic.
It is that is magic, right? And it is funny because like the future is hype, the past is spin.
Yeah. yeah.
And the present is reality.
Right.
And I do get the feeling, and then this is what gets me in the most trouble, but what the heck? I'll get in trouble. I'm old, whatever. I'm keeping my money. I'll live off what I got. And I'll get Social Security someday, so fuck all y'all. What I get in the most trouble is when I suggest that the 20th century seems to be about those organizing marches, whether it, Martin Luther King or Mussolini or Gandhi. It's like we follow a leader on this journey, eyes on the prize, ends justifies the means toward winning, toward the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so linear. It's so cause and effect. We're going to do this now for that later.
Right.
And it's like, what about if you focus entirely on the way in which we are doing this now?
Right.
The be here now. Back to Ramdat. So if you're actually here, what's required of you, what's incumbent upon you, becomes so self-evident.
Right.
In the moment that you're in.
That's it. That. There isn't that, and that goes back to everything's fine, because if you notice, like, if you just sort of look out at the world, and it sucks that the way we are getting the teachings is via, like, fucking massive, insane catastrophes.
Yeah.
But if you look at, like, Asheville, and you see the people who are coming out to help, you look at Spain, people just helping just get the fucking water off the streets. I don't know what the politics of Spain are. I kind of understand the politics of Asheville, but I'm pretty sure the people who are like boots on the ground citizens, not FEMA, sadly. We all know the story where they were like actually denying aid to people who had Trump signs in their fucking yard. That is not a conspiracy.
Oh, really? That's true.
Oh, it's so dark. But I'm saying boots on the ground, non-government intervention. Nobody, when they're giving sandwiches to people, is like, who are you voting for? After their house just got washed down. And that thing that seems to be built into us, which is if you just are wanting to help, it's immediately right there. Here's how you do it.
It is.
And it's not lofty usually. I think that's why people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's real simple. Sometimes people just need like warmer clothes.
Right. But then the trick is, if we are continually bailing out our neighbors out of floods and hailstorms and all these things that seem unprecedented, is there a point at which we say, hey, there's been a lot more of this stuff lately. Might we need to look at something?
Hey, cross that bridge when we come to it.
Right.
And no one wants to hear that. I mean, I remember hearing Ram Dass talking about like the story of when he met the person who brought him to Neem Karoli Baba. He's walking through India with this dude who kind of looks like Jesus. And Ram Dass is spinning his stories, you know, all this fancy stuff to this guy. And the guy would say to him, just be here right now. Don't worry about those stories. Or he'd be like, my feet hurt. Let's just stay here with, constantly drawing him back into this moment, which destroyed the game, the temporal game of like, this is who I am, this is who you are, here are my stories. It destroys it, and it puts you in a fantastically frustrating situation, which is, these questions will emerge. Okay, fine. How many fucking floods do you want to clean up? Is this where we're going to get our spiritual teaching? Just by fucking, just catastrophe? Is that where we're at right now? We must regulate. We must impose. We must intervene. We must. And it's like, what happens if we just for a second stop all that bullshit?
Well, because then if we do, we will be in such a better position to do whatever the thing we need to do collectively.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that there is huge system-wide impacts of small things. If we're all engaging with each other more compassionately, then we need to buy less stuff, so we need less ships coming from China, we need less kids going into rare earth metal slaves to get us more AirPods.
Yes.
All of a sudden you're having huge, you're reducing your impact on so much. If you don't need to drive to work because you're helping your neighbor instead, or you've created a local economy, then you're polluting less and getting less lithium out of the ground. It's like it's not rocket science.
That's what no one likes about it. We all want to be fucking rocket scientists.
Yeah.
We all want to scale. We all
want to scale. How does my thing? It doesn't. What if it doesn't? What if you only just help 100 people? 100 people in their lives. My God. The school teacher, the good school teacher who teaches for 20 years, has 30 kids, has changed the lives of 600 human beings.
Yeah, that's it.
Fuck.
And the other thing is, this messianic fucking egregore that is inside all of this, and I never connected to scaling, but it's clearly that's what's happened. It really leaves out all of the things that led to the past world changes. We all know who Martin Luther King is. What about, no one's ever going to hear about his neighbor who said something incredible to him that set him on his path? Right. No one's ever going to hear about Buddha's great-grandmother. No one's ever going to hear about, probably someone like Jesus Jesus was fixing their cabinet, assuming he's a carpenter.
Right, or whatever Essie whispered something into Jesus' ears when he's out in the desert.
No, those people get no credit. Everybody wants to be the Jesus. Everybody wants to be the Buddha. And that can't work. How does that work? You can't have a planet of Jesuses. You need for Jesus to work, you need a Judas.
And for all we know, Jesus wasn't actually the Jesus, and Buddha may not have been the Buddha. It could have been the friggin' Vimalakirti over on the left.
Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
It doesn't matter, because that's in the past. And now here we are, and that's it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is, as far as we're aware, the very. You want to talk about high tech? Doesn't get higher tech than right now.
Yeah.
This is it. We are at the crest of the wave of time space, at least where we're stuck in
Yeah.
it. And what else do you need? It's like, and I just discovered something about my daughter, which is so cool. She loves surfing videos. I just accidentally landed on a surfing video, and she is just like so cute. She's like, wow. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like this is blowing my mind watching some dude gracefully like navigating a massive, terrifying wave that would definitely drown me. What's it like for a 1-year-old? Like, what the fuck is happening here? This, like, dude, it's crazy. And like, but I'm watching the surfer. I'm seeing someone fully in the moment,
Right.
because they have to be. That surfer, I'm pretty sure, isn't planning anything.
No, and they're not, it's a great metaphor because like the way the digital person or the scientist understands the ocean is as the series of latitude and longitude lines, right? They put a grid on top of it.
Yeah.
You're right here at that intersection. And I don't like the word intersectionality for that very reason. It's a Cartesian coordinate grid that you put on your race, your identity, your this. But the cartographer puts the grid. The surfer doesn't care about the grid. The surfer's in the actual ocean of the waves.
That's it. That's it.
Those waves don't see that grid.
No, and for sure they'd fucking wipe out if they were like putting grids, if they had some AR headset on that was like mapping like heat signatures and like where the crest of the wave, I don't know surfing terms, but to me this is what it seems to boil down to, is like we are all, yeah.
That's what we used to say about the net. We used to call it surfing the net. Because that's the metaphor. That was what we understood.
That's it. And within, like, your waves are always the same and always different. They have characteristics that are always going to be the same, or it wouldn't be a fucking wave. But they're always going to require some different thing between waves. And if we are trying to surf on fucking waves that aren't even waves, they've been invented for us by the goddamn algorithm telling us this is the social landscape. And the way we're trying to surf on the goddamn waves is some sort of bizarre, I don't know what you would call it, fascist, this is how you surf.
Right.
No adjustments. You must surf the way the other wave was surfed that seemed to be like the one we're in.
Right.
You're fucked.
Right.
Abandoning everything, really letting it all go. This is what's happening right now.
Right.
And that's it.
Melting into the novelty.
Melting into the novelty. Melting into the novelty. And that, so all that being said, are we fucked?
Maybe.
How fucked
But
are
I
we?
would say yes, and it's going to be okay.
What do we
yes,
do?
and, I've been accused of playing in the orchestra on the deck of the Titanic.
And you play it. By the way, if there was some motherfucker who told those people to stop playing, and I was like on a sinking ship, I would be so pissed. Like, dude, let them play. I'm about to die.
Right.
Please, I want to hear it.
And that they were able to be in touch with their own higher purpose. I was born to be a musician. If the ship's going down, I'm going to play to the last minute and vibrate out into the infinity.
Because you're not saving the Titanic.
Right.
Nothing you can do. What are you going to go bail water out of that fucking
and we do know, the civilization that we've been on, the civilizational thing that we've been on since whenever it is, ancient Greece or whatever, this particular very binary, abstracted, colonizing, nation-statey, capitalist civilization is destabilizing. Its institutions are no longer up to the challenge.
on every level. Everywhere. Every industry, everything.
Right.
Showbiz, tech, industrialization, it's all teetering.
Right. So that may not be okay. And the collapse of these institutions, just like losing the mental institutions in the 70s, could lead to a lot of pain and suffering, So what do we do in such a time? Well, I guess whatever you're called to do. Some people are going to try to shore up these institutions, keep them going as long as possible. I think what we do is try to reduce the pressure that we and the people in our circles put on these institutions, to give them some breathing space, buy less stuff. You know, take
Right.
care of your neighbor. The more old people you're taking care of in your neighborhood or in the neighboring city, the less they need from social services, the less they need from their welfare check.
How do you find old people?
Well, they're everywhere.
I
There's
mean, but
people.
seriously though, I've always loved this thing that you've said, and I think about it all the time. But I never really act on it because it's like, I don't know what old people live in my neighborhood. What do? Go to door to door?
No, well, in your civic reality, there's probably I mean, if we're in Austin here, there's probably an Austin town hall that has a senior center. You
Yeah.
go there and find the seniors. You know, you go to one of their, can I volunteer to help? Or it's bingo night at the senior center.
Yeah.
Then you're doing bingo night, and it's like, oh, look at that woman in the walk, can't even make it to her car.
Right.
Do you need a ride? Do you need a thing? What do you?
Right.
There.
That's so actionable. That's so actionable. But you know the problem? Doesn't scale. I don't want to help anybody. If I would need the whole planet to see me help an old lady. That's why I hate those videos. The altruism TikToks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where someone's like cutting a person's hair on the street. And it's just like, dude, if you're going to do this, you better film the setup. I want to see you set up your tripod. I want to see you get the lighting right. I want to see the cuts and the takes before whatever you publish. But